Hey, what is going on? It is 12 noon on Wednesday, which means it's time for this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. What we're talking about this week is property taxes, specifically the Florida Homestead tax exemption that helps decrease your property tax bill, helps save you money on your property tax bill, also helps save your clients money, and there's an important deadline to keep in mind. It's a good tool for follow-up with your clients, so stick around. We've got a great show for you guys today on Ask the Instructor. I'm John Chrismo. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. We'll be back in under a minute.
You are watching
Ask the Instructor every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Time. I'm John Chrismo. You're watching Ask the Instructor. Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. I'm John Chrismo, and the show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. If you're interested in starting or enhancing your real estate career, make sure you give us a phone call. The phone number is below. It's 813-928-0106. You also have got our website, tampaschool.com, where we've got lots of information, not just on the courses it is that we offer for sale, but also all kinds of tools to help prepare for your success in the real estate industry. Because, yeah, you've got to be prepared for success. If you don't prepare for success, success isn't going to happen. It doesn't just happen to everyone, and that's why we do these videos twice a week. Ask the Instructors. Really, we do a lot more than twice a week for videos now, but we do Ask the Instructors on Wednesdays at 12 noon live. It's a live stream where you guys can comment and ask me questions and really get a better understanding of these more technical topics. And then on Friday, sometimes we're bringing in special guests, and sometimes it's just me. If you guys didn't catch last Friday, we had Johnny Lowy, one of the top 50 realtors in the country, the #1 in Florida, ranked by the Wall Street Journal. He was actually with us last Friday on State of Real Estate. So if you haven't watched that yet, make sure you go back and check that one as well, because there's a lot of great tips in there to grow your real estate business. And that's what we're concerned with. We want you guys to be successful. But again, it takes a lot for success. You've got to plan for the success. You've got to be ready for the success. So that's why we're there to help you. Our Success Center on our website, tampaschool.com/success. That's where we've got this whole gold mine of information. You've got all the episodes of Ask the Instructor, all the episodes of State of Real Estate, as well as all kinds of great tools to help take your real estate business to that next level. But let's go ahead and talk about the topic of the day on Ask the Instructor. This is an important exam concept you want to know, and that's about the homestead exemption. And it's the homestead exemption for property taxes. So what is this homestead exemption? So the homestead exemption, this is really a tax savings for your home, for your principal residence. And now this isn't going to be just when we're doing this math, it's not decreasing your tax bill directly. It's indirectly decreasing your tax bill, because what this is doing is it's exempting the value of your property. So it's exempting the value of your home. You're only allowed to have one of these in Florida. So before we get into any math with this, let's talk about some of the important points that you want to understand and know for this here. Number one, only applies to your principal residence. So your home, again, that's the home part of this here. It only applies to your principal residence. If this is an investment property, you're stuck with the full property tax bill for the most part. So this only applies to your principal residence. Now, I told you guys at the beginning here, there's a date. This is a very important date, because you have to file for this homestead exemption by this date of the first year that you're living in the property, by January 1st, in order to qualify for this homestead exemption. So this date is March 1st. That's the filing deadline for homestead exemption. And this is a great tool to follow up with clients. And you might say, John, well, if I already sold them a house, what am I doing following up with them for? Well, that's not what follow-up is. When I say follow-up, and when your exam mentions follow-up, they're not referring to, following up to get a sale, to first make a sale with a client, to first get a property sold to them. Following up refers to staying in contact with clients after the sale. So this is a great tool to follow up. It gives you a great reason to contact them. Hey, hope you guys are enjoying your house. Hey, I wanted to reach out to you to make sure you filed for your homestead tax exemption here. I told you guys I'm going to be your realtor for life, and here I am again. I know you're not selling your house right now, but I want to make sure that you guys file for this homestead exemption, so that way you're able to capture these savings on your property. So you have to file by March 1st. Now you might say, well, what happens if they buy a property in April? How are they going to get a homestead tax exemption? Well, their taxes actually don't change when they purchase the property. The taxes are always assessed on January 1st. So this has to be filed on the first year that you live in there on January 1st. So if you got any closings going on up until the end of the year, or any closings you've had at all this year, this is a great tool to follow up with your clients come March and ask them, hey, have you met any neighbors yet? Do you have any friends, family members, somebody that's looking to buy a house, looking to move here, looking to move out of here, somebody I could help me make some money. Come on, who do you got for me? And this is the whole thing, that this whole referral type of machine that you want to try to build, that you really want to foster with your past clients, because these clients that are coming in off of referrals, you're not paying really any money to advertise to them. They're just walking in. They're free clients. And you just got to take good care of them like you took good care of your previous clients. And they're going to become referral machines as well. So you're constantly building out a base of referral clients. But like we've talked about so many times on this show before, what happens when you don't constantly reintroduce yourself to your clients, that you're constantly not putting your face, your name, your voice in their heads? They forget about you. It's nothing personal. Just think about all the people that you've forgotten over your life. Not even salespeople, just people that you've forgotten. Maybe people you went to school with, maybe people that you used to be close with, and you could barely remember their name now. People forget if they're constantly not reintroduced, and this gives you a great reason. Hey, just wanted to give you a quick call. Look, I just got to bug you because I got to make sure you guys are saving money on your taxes. Did you file the homestead exemption? You've got until March 1st for that. And the great part of this is you could contact them. You could follow up with them a couple times, maybe call them in January. Hey, if you got until March to do this, but have you filed for the homestead exemption yet? Okay, I'll follow up with you guys next month to make sure you did that. Call them again in February. Oh, have you filed for that homestead exemption yet? Oh, no, I'll call you again next week because you guys got to get that done. Otherwise, you're going to be paying higher taxes. And you call them again. And what you're doing here is not only that you're showing that you care about them, because, there's probably easier ways of spending your time and more direct ways of picking up new clients, but you're spending this time not only because you care about your clients and because you want your clients to have a great experience with you, but also because you want them to say that to their friends and their family and their coworkers, to say, hey, my realtor, he was calling me even after he got his commission check to make sure we filed for homestead exemption. I don't know if he makes money off of the taxes we pay or what's going on, but he's a really good guy. I don't think he makes any money off the taxes. You don't make money off of the taxes people pay on their property taxes. So this is a great way to not only show that you care with your clients, but also for them to return the favor, to show that they care about you and that they're willing to help you grow your business by offering you some referral clients, whether that's a coworker, friend, family, or whoever. So great tool. I know this is a little bit technical, more of an episode when we get into this property taxes there, but that's a very grow your business tool, and that's why understanding these more technical concepts are so important for growing your real estate business. So you've got to file for that by March 1st. Now let's go ahead and cover some of the other basics with this. So the exemption amounts for our city and county taxes. City and county taxes, the maximum exemption, and we're going to talk about how to figure out what this exemption amount actually is, but our max exemption for city and county taxes is $50,000. So $50,000 is the maximum exemption for city and county taxes. Now there's also the school board taxes. And for the school board taxes, They have a lower exemption amount, and this is part of the law, kind of a little bit of a loophole in the law that's designed to generate more money for the school board. So they give a lower exemption for the school board, so that way the school board is able to collect more tax dollars from property taxes. And you know, most of your local services, especially in Florida, are funded by property taxes. They get a little bit of revenue from sales tax and a few other avenues, but a majority of their revenue comes from property taxes. That's where a large chunk of the property tax bill actually comes from. In Florida, you don't have any income taxes. It's mainly property taxes and some of the other taxes they have that affect businesses and for sales taxes and things like that they use to generate revenue. So that being said, the property taxes can be quite a burden. But that's what the Homestead Act is here to protect you. It's to protect you from excessive taxation, and what they define as excessive is less than $50,000 and less than $25,000 for the school board. So you get an exemption. We're going to talk about what this means, not only how to figure out what these numbers are, because you don't always get $50,000, that's the maximum exemption, and you pretty much always get $25,000. You've got a home less than $25,000 for the school board taxes, but those are our maximum exemptions. You don't always get that full amount. And again, this is not going to be a direct deduction from whatever your tax bill is. It's not that you get a $51,000 tax bill and this takes it down to $1,000. This applies to the actual purchase price. So we're going to do some math on that. I'm breaking that down. And this is, if you guys are watching these videos to study for your state exam, this is a topic that you definitely want to know for your exam. Homestead, not only is this important to understand for the real world, you probably don't need to know it in this much detail, but you do want to know that it exists and know how this impacts your buyers and sellers. But this is something very important that you do need to know in detail to be able to pass your exams, or at least get the questions right for this one to get right on your exams. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to cover this more with the Homestead. We're going to calculate out how much the exemption amount is on a property, show you how to do that. We're going to break down subtracting this out from our exemption amount to figure out what taxes are, and then we're also going to talk about the Save Our Home Amendment, which is really a big lifesaver, our home saver in this case here, that keeps your home from being going up for some sort of property tax auction. So stick with us. I'm John Crismo. You're watching Ask the Instructor.
Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com. Does your current career allow for unlimited income potential? With a career in real estate, the sky is the limit. What you put in is what you get out. Find out more about how you can tap into the unlimited income potential of a career in real estate at tampaschool.com.
Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.
You are watching
Ask the Instructor. Every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Time. I'm John Crismo. You're watching Ask the Instructor. Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. I'm John Crismo, and this show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. If you're interested in starting or enhancing your real estate career, make sure you give us a call. The phone number you'll find below here, as well as our website. If you haven't been on the Success Center on our website, do yourself a favor and go check that out. It's tampaschool.com/success. We've got a lot of tools. You've got all the episodes of Ask the Instructor, all the episodes of State of Real Estate, whether it's you're looking to study for your exam or you're just looking for information to take your real estate business to the next level. That's all available at tampaschool.com/success. So make sure you check that out and give us a call if you need to take a course, or if you got post licensing coming up, continuing education, or whatever it is that we could do to help you guys out. So we're talking about the homestead exemption today for property taxes. Now, again with this, just to reiterate these points, then we'll get into figuring out what these exemption amounts actually are. Number one, this only applies to your principal residence, so your primary residence, your home. That's why they call it the homestead exemption, because this applies to your home, your primary residence. So that's checkbox number one. Checkbox number two, you've got to file for this by March 1st, and like we talked about extensively that first 15 minutes here, this is a great tool to follow up with your clients, to keep top of mind after the sale has actually gone through, because that's going to help generate you referral business. And you build that machine large enough of enough people, you have a big enough following, a big enough client base, you don't have to spend any money on advertising. You could easily be one of the top producing agents in your particular market if you build your base long enough and if you do not allow your clients to forget who it is that you are. So that's a great way to follow up with them. Next, we've got our exemption amount. So for the city and county, it's a maximum of $50,000, and for the school board, it's a maximum of $25,000. So let's go ahead and cover quickly how we find out what this exemption amount is. So understanding this exemption amount, now in most cases, especially with property values as they are in Florida, most homes are above $75,000. And anytime a home is above $75,000, and this is even typical for your exam questions, a lot of time you do see a home that's larger than $75,000, so you don't have to always get into the nitty-gritty here of breaking down what this exemption amount actually is. But if you have a home that's less than $75,000, and now this is less than $75,000 in assessed value. We're not going off of market value or anything like that. It's just the assessed value, just what the tax assessor says that the property is being assessed at. So we take that assessed value and we're going to basically put it in on this little chart here. So we've got our dollars over here. We've got $0, $25,000, $50,000, $75,000, and it keeps going up from there. But now as far as the exemption amounts go, so I'm going to utilize two colors here to help kind of differentiate the two of these. Green means good, and good is when you don't have to pay taxes. Red is bad, and bad is when you have to pay taxes. Now, I mean, it's not necessarily bad, because these taxes, especially the property taxes, these are what pay for your local services, for your police, for your firefighters, for all of these local services. That's paid for by property taxes. So not necessarily a bad thing, but I mean, hey, if you don't have to pay property taxes, why should you? But we're not going to get into a debate about that. So we're going to use these colors, however, though. So remember, red means we're taxable. Green means we're not taxable. This means we're exempt. So for our city and county taxes, the first $25,000, make sure I use the right color here, is exempt. So that's the first $25,000 that we've got on this little chart here. That's exempt, meaning we're not paying taxes on this. So really, if our home is anywhere from $0 to $25,000, we're going to be exempt due to the homestead exemption if this is our primary residence. So if you've got a home $25,000 or less, which isn't a lot of property, it's a very small property. There's not many homes that are under that $25,000 mark, and typically when they are, they're usually rentals rather than they are principal residences that people own. But if you did own a property $25,000 or less, there's going to be no taxes on this for your city and county tax bill. Now, once you get above $25,000, really this next $25,000 here, from the amount of $25,000 up to $50,000, this amount is taxable. Remember, the red means that we're taxable here. So that's taxable. So if we have a property that's assessed at $50,000, that means we've earned $25,000 in exemption, and our next $25,000 is going to be taxable. So first $25,000 exempt, next $25,000 is taxable. Now, before we go any further here, I want to break this down. Okay, let's say if we've got a home that's maybe, let's say about $40,000, $40K. So if we've got a $40,000 home, that means we would have earned that first $25,000 exemption, but this amount here, from $25,000 up to $40,000, is going to be taxable. So we would have $15,000 taxable. So we're not getting that full amount there. Now, that's important to understand before we move into this next bracket here, because when we go up to the next $25,000, that's going to be exempt as well for our city and county taxes. Remember, we're not talking about school board here. We're going to do that one in just a second. So for the city and county now, let's say that we've got a home that's at $60,000, probably roughly about there. If the home is assessed at $60,000, that means this first $25,000, this is going to be exempt. The next $25,000, that's going to be taxable. And this is the amount of value. So that next $25,000 is taxable. And then anything from $50,000 up to $75,000, or up into this case here, up until $60,000, is going to be exempt as well. So really, effectively, all we have that we're being taxed on is this middle $25,000 here. So our tax value, our taxable value, able to be taxed value, is just this middle $25,000 here. And that's where this gets a little bit tricky. It's not once you hit $50,000 you've automatically earned another $25,000. It's you're earning it as you go. So even if the property was $74,000 right up here, if we had $74,000, it would really be the same amount of taxes, because again, we just got all that amount up to $74,000 is going to be exempt. So for the $60,000 home, for $51,000, for $53,000, for $72,000, for $69,000, the taxable value for city and county taxes is always just going to be that middle $25,000 there. So like I said, I know that's a little bit tricky, it's a little bit confusing, and that's why even on your exam they don't always compound this into the whole question of doing homestead. However, this could be a question in and of itself, where it's just asking how much is the taxable value on a home for $60,000 or $74,000 or anything like that. Now, once you've gotten up to $75,000, you've been able to max out the exemption amount, because you're getting $25,000 here and $25,000 there. So at a $75,000 assessed value, you're still just paying taxes on that middle $25,000. And anything above that, it just becomes real easy here, because everything above and beyond $75,000 is taxable. So if we have a home $350,000, doesn't matter, because it's so much more than this here. You're still only getting 25 and 25, so $50,000 of exemption. That makes the taxable value in that case $300,000, and it's still that middle $25,000 that's coming out with here. So when you get over and above $75,000 to the more typical type of property value that you do see in Florida, then it's just a simple remembering $50,000 is the exemption amount. But when you deal with properties and you see properties on your exam that are less than $75,000, that's where you have to keep this in mind for the dollar amount of the exemption it is that you're going to get. Now, moving over to the city and county side. On the city and county side, it's actually a little bit simpler. It's a little bit more streamlined. So for the school board, for our school board taxes, again, we've got our two different colors here to differentiate. Green exempt, red taxable. Our first $25,000, again, is exempt. But if you're paying attention at the beginning of the show, remember I said the maximum exemption you get for school board taxes is $25,000. So anytime you get over and above that, it's all going to be taxable. So on that $350,000 home, you're just getting $25,000 of exemption. That maximum exemption, even though it looks like my chart's kind of leaning here, so that should be a $25K there, just in case that looks like it's otherwise. First $25,000 is exempt. Everything beyond that is taxable. And again, so what that means is pretty much any time you have a property value that's $25,000 or less, you're exempt from not only the city and county, but also the school board taxes. You're exempt from all three tax districts when you've got those exemptions in there. So that's how to understand how much exemption it is that you're getting. Now, again, in a nutshell, you're usually dealing with a home that's going to be over $75,000 in value. Most of the homes in Florida are over $75,000 in value, well over $75,000 in value. So then it's just a matter of, again, just to reiterate this, we've got exemptions of $50,000 on the city and county side and $25,000 on the school board side. And if any of this stuff, if any of that stuff you still don't have a full handle around that, write down the link, tampaschool.com/success. Again, that's tampaschool.com/success. You can go back after the show and rewatch the entire recording of today's broadcast, and you can even slow it down. That's what's great about our little Success Center. It's even got a little icon down at the bottom. It's powered by YouTube, and you can actually slow these videos down. So you can pause it, fast forward, do whatever it is that you need to make sure you're able to extract the necessary information. So again, that website is tampaschool.com/success. We're going to take another quick commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to take now that we figured out what the exemption amount is, we're going to go into the nitty-gritty of this here, and that's figuring out what our actual property tax bill is. So calculating property taxes now that you figured out what that exemption amount is. So stick with us. I'm John Chrismo. You're watching Ask the Instructor.
Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com. Does your current career allow for unlimited income potential? With a career in real estate, the sky is the limit. What you put in is what you get out. Find out more about how you can tap into the unlimited income potential of a career in real estate at tampaschool.com.
Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.
You are watching
Ask the Instructor. Every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Time. I'm John Chrismo. You're watching Ask the Instructor. Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. Every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Time, we come to you live to help you better understand the technical side of the real estate industry. Some days, like today, we're talking about property taxes or some of these calculations that you could also see on your exam. So these are great for helping brush up on some of these, especially the math problems. Every type of math almost that could show up on your exam is probably covered in one of our episodes somewhere, some way, somehow. We're coming up on our 1-year anniversary of Ask the Instructor, so we might do something a little bit big for that, but that means that we've got 52 episodes of Ask the Instructor out there, 52 hour-long segments of how to understand these technical topics like the homestead exemption, like calculating commission, like figuring out the numbers for your business plan, like all of these different maths and just overall concepts that we talk about that you need to know about to be successful in the real estate industry. And it's all part of our Success Center. It's our way to help you plan for your success in the real estate industry. And again, that's available at tampaschool.com/success. Again, tampaschool.com/success. And we also have got State of Real Estate. We started that shortly after, and that's on Fridays, 12 noon Eastern Time, to take your real estate business to the next level. Kind of, almost like a sales meeting, kind of an end of the week, pick me up, pep talk. Okay, this is what you got to do. Go out there and crush it this weekend. So that's our live streams, and if you're looking for any of that, again, it's at tampaschool.com/success. Feel free to call us if you want any help with anything or need to take any courses. We'd love to get you enrolled in some of our courses with the Tampa School of Real Estate. Now, we've gone through and we've covered what these exemption amounts are. So we've got that first $25,000 exempt for city and county. The additional exemption, that's what they call this here, is $25,000 on the city and county, and that comes when you're above $50,000 up to $75,000. And then for the school board, it's that first $25,000 that's exempt. But typically, not only for your exam questions, but also like you see in the real world, most homes are above $75,000 in value. So that's what we're going to choose when we go through and now try to figure out what the tax bill is actually going to be for a particular property. And this is a question that I can almost guarantee is going to show up on your exam. I can't guarantee that it's going to be on there because there's other types of math questions they do ask, but this is one that they really ask about very, very often. There's lots of questions in their question banks that ask about property taxes. Matter of fact, I think every real estate exam I've ever had to take, I think I've always had a question on property taxes. So this is something you absolutely want to know to make sure that you've got down, that you've gotten mastered. Property taxes are a big, important part of the purchase process of buying and selling real estate, not only for understanding what the value is, but also prorating that value. Yes, the closing title company typically handles that math, but you don't want to look like an idiot, like you don't know how they're coming up with that number or why that number is what it is. So that's why it's important for you to have the knowledge, because when you look like you don't know what you're doing, people are paying you for your knowledge in real estate. So the more it is that you know and the more confident it is that you're in the knowledge, not only will that help you for your exam, because the exam is all about being confident in the material, it'll also help you be successful in the real world, the more confident it is that you are in really all aspects of real estate. So let's go ahead and do some calculations now. Let's say we've got that $350,000 home. So $350,000 is our assessed value. That's our assessed value. And what we're going to be doing here as we work through this, I'm going to lay this out, and this is how we always teach this in our pre-licensing classes. This is our recommended strategy for solving this type of math. There's a lot of different ways to solve this, but this is the way that seems to make the most sense. And it is a very visual method of going through this here, and especially if you're a visual type of learner, this will really kind of help you remember the steps it is when you're figuring out property taxes. So that's our assessed value. And what we do basically is we break this down as we got the city and county on one side, and we've got what that is there. You don't always have to put that middle column, but that helps you a little bit. Go for it. And then we've got our school board. Now the assessed value for the city and county as well as the school board is going to be $350,000. So we've got the same assessed value. Now going back off to that last chart that we just erased on here, our exemption for Homestead on city and county taxes is going to be $50,000 over here. And then on our school board side, that exemption is going to be $25,000. Now, one of the things that you always want to look for and pay attention to, which this isn't as typical that you run into this in the real world, but it is something, and it really doesn't even make that big of a difference in the actual tax bill in the real world either, but this is something that very often pops up on your exams, whether it's a class exam, state exam, whatever that may be, and that's knowing about the special exemption categories. So there's really four different special exemptions that get an additional dollar amount. And we've got two different values for these. We've got one that's $500 and the other is $5,000. So for the $500 exemption, there's three different categories. If you fit the bill for one of these three categories, or if it mentions this in your question, this is important when you're taking your exam. You want to always go back and review the question to see if you missed one of these three categories, because they're very easy to miss, so don't make that simple mistake on your exam. We've got number one, a widow. So if it mentions anything about a widow, or also the other term they may use for this is surviving spouse, that's a $500 exemption. And we'll say that, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. The second category is that they're blind, legally blind. And that's another $500. You have the two of these together. If you have a blind widow, that's $1,000. They add together. These will add together. And the final category is a non-veteran with total disability. Totally and permanently disabled. That one you really don't see too often. It's usually the widow and the blind. Now, before we go back to our question here, let's talk about this $5,000 category, where you get the $5,000 exemption for. And this $5,000 exemption is if you're a veteran. So specifically for veterans, if the question doesn't mention anything about being a veteran, you don't have to worry about this. But if they're a veteran and they're at least 10% plus disabled. they're at least 10% disabled, 10% or more disabled. And yes, the VA will actually put a percentage on them for the amount of disability it is that they actually have. And so what you're going to do is you're going to look for these different additional categories. And if you do have any of these categories, that's going to be an additional special exemption. And you're going to subtract that out as well for both sides. So let's say in this case that we're dealing with a legally blind widow. So we've got these two categories here. 500 and 500 gives us a total of $1,000. And we're going to go ahead and subtract that $1,000 as an additional special exemption for both sides. So really our exemption amount over here is $26,000, $25,000 and $1,000, and over here it's $51,000. And we're taking these exemption amounts and subtracting them from our assessed value, and that's going to give us our taxable value. So that leads us to our taxable value. So if we do the math on this, $350,000 minus $50,000 brings us down to $300,000 minus another $1,000 for being a blind widow. That brings us to $299,000 that's taxable for our city and county taxes. So that's what we just found there. What's our taxable value for city and county taxes? Now over on the school board side, we're basically going to be doing the same thing, except for now we've got a slightly different exemption amount. Instead of $50,000, it's only $25,000 for our base exemption. And then we're still you always factor in both city, county, and school board sides, factor in that special exemption of the $1,000. So we've got $350,000, we're going to subtract out $25,000, gives us $325 minus another $1,000 gives us $324,000. So $324,000 is the taxable value for the school board. We're almost there, but what we have to do further now to figure out what our property tax bill actually is multiply this by the millage rate. So this is also going to be given to you in the question. Really the only thing it is that you'd have to remember if you're planning on seeing this on your exam is just remembering what those exemption amounts are, and if you forget those in the real world, if you're trying to do these calculations, you could always do a handy Google, although Google usually gives you too much information where it's hard to find what it is you're exactly looking for, especially something as specific as this, especially when you don't know what that answer is that you're looking for. So it's good to remember this in the real world as well, but I digress. Now for our tax rates, the tax rates are given to us as a millage rate. So the tax rates, these cap out at 10 mills. The most they could be per district is 10 mills. The most for the city is 10 mills. The most for the county is 10 mills. The most for the school board is also 10 mills. So these all cap out at 10 mills. And let's say for our city, we've got, let's say 9 mills. For our county, let's say we've got 8.3 mills. And then for our school board, let's say the tax rate is 7.7 mills. So let's start with the school board side because this is going to be a little bit easier. So for the school board, we've got 7.7 mils. Now, if you're going to be putting millage rates into a calculator, you have to convert them into the appropriate decimal. The calculators you're allowed to use for your exam, and I actually don't even know many calculators that exist that have a mill button on them. Maybe they're out there, but you're probably not going to see that. And if you do, it's probably more complicated to work than just knowing how to convert this into a decimal. All you're doing to convert this into a decimal is just taking where that decimal is currently, where it is currently, and going 1, 2, and 3 decimal places over. And then in the empty spaces, you're just adding in zeros. So really, our millage rate for this is 0.0077. 0.0077. And that's going to be what we're multiplying our taxable value by. We multiply that by the mills. So we're going to multiply that by 0.0077. And then let's get our handy dandy calculator here. Don't try to do this math in your head. It won't end well for you. Get a calculator that works also. You're not allowed to use your phone on the exam, so make sure you've got a physical one. Or if you're just in the real world, your phone works perfectly fine. So we've got $324,000 times 0.0077, and we get $2,494.80. That's our tax bill for the school board taxes. $2,494.80. And the way we found that, just to walk you through this again one more time, we started off with the assessed value. That's what the assessor says our property was worth. We subtracted out our homestead exemption, and for the school board that was only $25,000, but we had a blind widow, if you remember, so we took out an extra $1,000, $500 for being blind and $500 for being a widow. That left us with a taxable value of $324,000, which we then multiplied by 0.0077, and that gave us $2,494.80. But we're not done yet. Now we need to go back over to the city and county side, because this is just the taxes for the school board. Now, there's an alternative way you could do this. Again, there's a lot of ways you could solve these questions, and one of the ways you could solve this is really doing 3 different sets of calculations. One for the school board, and one for the city, and one for the county. What we're doing here, and you could always do this to make this a little bit faster, is combine your city and county tax rates, your city and county tax calculations into one calculation. And the reason why you're able to do that, and really the only reason why we need to separate out the school board, because that's really why we have to do this. The reason why we do the school board separately is because of that difference in exemption amount. It's $25,000 in exemption here, whereas both the city and the county tax districts both allow a $50,000 exemption. So we're going to be basing this tax off the same dollar amount here. We have 2 different taxable values for the school board and the city and county. And because we have that different taxable value, because of our different exemption, that's why we have to calculate the school board separately. Now, moving back over to the city and county side, if we're going to combine the city and county, we need to combine the city and county millage rates as well. So we need to combine this 9 mils and the 8.3 mils here. So 9 plus 8.3 gives us 17.3 mils. So we've got 17.3 mils is our total millage rate. And again, we're going to do the same thing we did earlier. Go 3 decimal places, to the left, and it's 0.0173. And that's why you'll notice whenever I'm doing these conversions from millage to decimal or percent to decimals or anything like that, I always draw on those little swoopy lines, and I always recommend students do the exact same thing, that you always draw in the little swoopy lines. I've yet to come up with it. Maybe people would be more keen on doing them if I quit calling them swoopy lines, but that's what they are. They seem childish, and to a certain extent that they are, but they also make sure you get the right answer. So you probably remember doing those from school, and your teacher taught you to do those for a reason, because that makes sure you don't put in too many zeros or not enough zeros. It's not about the number of zeros you put in. Here we did 2 zeros. Here we did 1 0. It's not about the number of zeros. It's about how many places you move it over. We move over 1, 2, and 3 decimal places always for that. So the number we're multiplying by up here is 0.0173. So we're multiplying that again by the mils, but now it's 0.0173. So times 0.0173. We multiply that out with our handy dandy calculator. So $299,000 times 0.0173, and we get $5,172.70. Now the question, not only in the real world, but also on your exam, isn't, okay, how much are individual tax districts? It's like, hey, what is our total tax bill altogether when we combine both of these here? When we combine the 2 of these together, we've got the $5,172.70 for our city and county taxes. We're going to add that now, because we're combining these 2, to the $2,494.80, and we end up with $7,667.50 as our total tax bill. And you're probably saying, wow, that's a lot of money for taxes there. You're telling me we saved money with that? You did. And we're not even dealing with that high of a property value here. What we'll do next is we'll actually calculate out the savings for homestead taxes. So for that question you guys have of, okay, well, did we actually save any money here? I'll show you what it is that you changed to figure out what the savings are in this and find out how much more this would have been, because that's also another potential exam question, but that's also a good way if you're going into this about follow-up with your past clients to follow up with them. Hey, did you know you're going to save X amount of dollars if you file for homestead by March 1st? Have you done that yet? Okay, I'll follow up with you in a couple weeks here to see if you've done it yet, to make sure we get that done on time here. No, I don't charge anything for this here. I just want to make sure that you guys are able to capitalize on the savings as well as all my past clients. And by the way, did you have anyone that you think was looking to buy or sell a home? So great way to earn referrals. But first, let's take a commercial break, and then we'll talk about tax savings. I'm John Crismo. You're watching Ask the Instructor.
Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com. Does your current career allow for unlimited income potential? With a career in real estate, the sky is the limit. What you put in is what you get out. Find out more about how you can tap into the unlimited income potential of a career in real estate at tampaschool.com.
Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.
You are watching
Ask the Instructor. Every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Time. I'm John Crismo. You're watching Ask the Instructor. Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. Every Wednesday, 12 noon Eastern Time, we come to you live through Facebook, through YouTube, through our Success Center, into your homes, your phones, your tablets, however it is that you guys want to watch these to increase your real estate knowledge. We do it every Wednesday for our current students, for our previous students, and for our future students, for helping you understand this technical side of the real estate industry. And people have asked me, John, why don't you charge money for these videos it is that you do? And look, there's so much information that's out there. This is just the tip of the iceberg. You want to learn a lot more about real estate and get your real estate license, come take your pre-licensing course with us. If you've already got your real estate license, come take your post-licensing course with us. We've got a lot of real-world business information in there for you to learn. Or if you need to do continuing education, which everyone with a real estate license needs to do continuing education, contact us, because our continuing education will teach you even more stuff there. So we want to be the school that you go to for any of your Florida real estate education needs. We have in-class and online courses, so make sure you give us a call. The phone number is 813-928-0106. You can also check us out at tampaschool.com. You'll see those links below here. And don't forget about our Success Center, where we've got everything to help you plan for your success in the real estate industry, and that's at tampaschool.com/success. Again, tampaschool.com/success. So the last bit of calculations I want to go with you guys today is tax savings due to homestead. Because we just came up with an almost $8,000 tax bill here, really $7,667.50 to be exact. But the tax collector will probably take that $8,000 if you want to pay that to them. So that's a large number, though. That's a lot of money for property taxes, a lot of money that goes towards the local services and government bureaucracy and all that other good stuff that your taxes go towards. But now the question, and this could also be a question on your exams as well, but also a question that your clients are going to ask you, well, is this even worth it filling out this exemption? Well, let's find out. What is the savings that we got on this property because of the exemption? And how we're going to do this a little bit differently here is we're not multiplying our millage rate by the taxable value. It's not, and there's two ways really you could go about this. There's a very long way, which is basically to calculate this all out with the homestead like we just did, calculate it all without the homestead, which is a little bit shorter, but still basically doing this math twice, and then subtracting the two numbers from each other. That's really long. That's a really long way of actually going about this. So what we're going to actually do is take the exemption amount We're laying this out for the most part the same way, but we're taking the exemption amount, the total exemption, and multiplying that by the millage rate. So on this side, we've got $51,000 in total exemption. So we'll go ahead and erase our answers we had down here as well. We had $51,000 in total exemption. We're going to take that $51,000 of exemption amount that we had, 51,000, and multiply that by 0.0173, which is our millage rate converted to a decimal. And on the city and county side, we saved $882.30. So almost $1,000 that we just saved just on the city and county side. So that's $882.30. And now that's a majority of where our savings are going to actually come from. Now over on the school board side, we saved some money as well. Not as much money, but our exemption amount was $26,000. So we take that $26,000 and we're going to go ahead now and multiply that by 0.0077. And we get $200.20. So $200.20. Now, for figuring out the total savings, because if you start giving your clients too much information when you're following up with them, or really for what your exam's asking, it's going to really be asking, okay, what is the total number? What's the bottom line? What is the amount of money it is that I'm going to save here? So again, we're just going to combine the two of these together, and we combine the two of these together, $200.20 plus $882.30. We end up saving $1,082.50. So a little over $1,000. In the grand scheme of things, when they're purchasing a property for $350,000, that might not sound like a much, save $1,000. But when it's $1,000 that you're saving, almost $1,100 that you're saving year after 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 year for filing for the homestead exemption, that starts to add up. If we're talking about the span of 30 years for a 30-year mortgage, I mean, that's $33,000 that you're saving. I mean, that extra $1,000, especially this time of year, you're maybe trying to buy Christmas presents, you're trying to go out for nice dinners, you're trying to go do Christmas festivities. That extra $1,000 will go a long way. I mean, yeah, it's a small dent in that $8,000 tax bill, but hey, let's take every penny it is that we have. We could probably do a better job with that money than what the government has, and if they're allowing us to have that $1,082.50 savings, take it. If they need more money, they'll take the money. If you want to pay them more money, you could pay them more money. You could always overpay your tax bills. They'll be greatly appreciative for you funding the government, but you don't have to. That's where these tax savings are allowed for. So make sure you file for the homestead exemption if you own property. Make sure that you have your clients file for it by, remember, March 1st is that deadline, so it's a great way. And don't get caught up in, the sales cycle and forgetting about your clients and becoming a secret agent on them. You don't want to become a secret agent on your past clients. You want them to remember that you helped them purchase their home, that you helped made the transaction as smooth as possible, that you were the one that got it done, that your knowledge and your information what was made that all possible. And you constantly remind them with that by, popping in every now and then. Hey, have you filed for the homestead exemption? That's a big reason to follow up with them and start building that relationship after the sale and start asking for referral business. So that's taxes. Like I said, if you guys missed any part of this episode here, go back on our Success Center, tampaschool.com/success. We'll put that link in the comments for you. It's tampaschool.com/success. You'll be able to watch this entire live stream as well as all of our Ask the Instructor and State of Real Estate live streams. We do them every Wednesday and every Friday, both at 12 noon Eastern Time. I hope to see you guys this Friday at 12 noon. State of Real Estate. We're going to be talking about growing your real estate business, taking it to the next level, and what it is that we could do to help you out with that. So make sure you tune in on Friday, 12 noon, State of Real Estate. That's all I've got for you guys today. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you're subscribing, liking us on Facebook or whatever. Best place to subscribe is at our Success Center, tampaschool.com/success. Drop your email in there, and then we'll send you email notifications whenever it is that we go live. If you check your email, that's a great place for you to be. If you don't check your email, if you'd like to do notifications with YouTube or Facebook or anything like that, then go do that and turn on notifications for us, so that way you don't miss this free information that we're putting out every week. And even if you can't watch it live, which we'd love to watch it live with you, so that way you could comment in and chat in with any questions you have, but go back and at least watch the recordings if you miss it live, so that way you're still getting this knowledge and information that's going to help you become successful in real estate. That's all I've got for you guys today. If you need to do pre-licensing, continuing education, post-licensing, any sort of course for a real estate license, we've got those courses. Give us a call. The phone number is 813-928-0106. We can get you into a classroom course, an online course, whatever it is that you need. Again, that phone number is 813-928-0106. Our advisors are standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way it is that they can. Other than that, I will see you guys Friday for State of Real Estate. I'm John Kursmo on behalf of Tampa School of Real Estate and Ask the Instructor, signing out, and see you on Friday.
Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com. Does your current career allow for unlimited income potential? With a career in real estate, the sky is the limit. What you put in is what you get out. Find out more about how you can tap into the unlimited income potential of a career in real estate at tampaschool.com.
Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.
You are watching
Ask the Instructor. Every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Time. I'm John Kursmo. You're watching Ask the Instructor.